the original Cleopatra was, in fact, the goddess Isis, wouldn't it be conceivable for this individual to assume the role of Cleopatra in history, given her immense power and influence? She could even establish an alibi in the form of a doppelgänger, whom history remembers as the authentic Cleopatra. Therefore, it is possible that we are dealing with two Cleopatras. The doppelgänger, however, a headless skeleton of a female child in a 20 BC tomb in Ephesus, Turkey, linked Cleopatra to an African lineage. The now missing skull, found together with old notes and photographs, is believed to be the body of Arsinoe IV, Cleopatra's half-sister, from. Contrary to popular belief, Greek ruler Cleopatra could have been of African descent. Face-to-face Africa belief in Atlantis and the concept of immortality may be considered fringe ideas, but they are not implausible from logical, physical, or philosophical perspectives. We must only imagine that humanity reached a remarkable technological level in the past. However, the crucial question remains: where's the evidence? As the ancient priests of Egypt observed, the world has undergone multiple cataclysms, at least one of fire and one of water, i.e., the Great Flood. This implies that the Atlanteans themselves could be survivors of a prior catastrophe, fire. So where is the evidence? I believe Randall, Carlson, and Hancock have addressed this question extensively. Furthermore, Randall Carlson presents compelling evidence for the occurrence of the Great Flood, which truly opened my eyes. Additionally, we have the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. Now we have a path that suggests the actual existence of Atlantis. In fact, there is a wealth of evidence supporting Atlantis' existence. However, one must possess a philosophical mindset to uncover this evidence, as it is concealed within alchemical symbols. True alchemists are unequivocally aware of Atlantis' existence. Personally, I find sacred geometry to be all the evidence I need, as it alone convinces me with absolute certainty. Once one comprehends sacred geometry, there is no logical way to deny the existence of Atlantis. In essence, if the possibility of denying Atlantis remains even after delving into the realm of sacred geometry, we wouldn't have scholars like Randall Carlson. Therefore, if one studies sacred geometry and still harbors doubts regarding the existence of Atlantis, the logical course of action is to delve deeper and continue studying until further clarity is attained. In the end, you question, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Personally, I find logic to be a more reliable truth-teller. Logic has the capacity to reveal insights that go beyond the accumulation of endless evidence. As I mentioned before, even with an abundance of evidence, one can still be mistaken. Therefore, I believe that it is ultimately the individuals themselves who will perceive the truth. I have reservations about the ability of so-called scientists and experts to break free from their dogmatic tendencies. In the end, who should one trust? The supposed experts or one's own observations? Take a look at the ancient statues in Egypt. Simply observe them without preconceived notions. Don't they bear a resemblance to black individuals? Because, from my perspective, they certainly appear to represent people of African descent. Thus, I prefer to trust my own eyes. However, as I mentioned earlier, I place a greater trust in logic. Logic followed by personal observations and then evidence. Yet for many individuals captivated by the allure of science, still entangled in its enchanting spell, this order seems to be reversed. Please note, when I refer to logic, I am referring to reason. It is important to recognize that the logical system itself is not without its dangers and paradoxes. Reason rera the sun, the capacity for clear perception. Always remember to think for yourself. The skeptic, is this a provocative post meant to provoke a reaction? My reply, no, I am completely serious. I genuinely believe in Manly Palmer Hall's theory. If his theory is correct, then it's plausible to consider the existence of prominent Atlanteans in our society. And who could be more prominent than Cleopatra? Well, Jesus comes to mind. In fact, I believe that Jesus was an Atlantean as well. Why else would he have long hair and a beard when it was customary at the time for people to have short hair? Male Atlanteans were known for their fondness for long hair and beards. Also, the authenticity of the Shroud of Turin does raise the possibility that Jesus could have been an Atlantean. I speculate that through his understanding of alchemy, he achieved a transformation akin to transmuting lead into gold. In this context, his resurrection could be interpreted as a transcendence into a state of pure light, which might explain the radiation-like appearance of the shroud. Additionally, throughout the tapestry of human history, tales of immortal alchemists mysteriously emerging and disappearing have been woven. Perhaps there is some truth to these accounts. Furthermore, stories of vampires and similar creatures persist. Could there be something more to explore within these narratives? The Shroud of Turin, fact or fiction? Let's turn our attention back to Egypt, because that's where we may find the answers we seek, hidden in the sands of time. The statues in Egypt do bear a resemblance to individuals of African descent. Once you notice this resemblance, it becomes impossible to ignore. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Furthermore, I hold the belief that the power and influence depicted by these ancient Black Egyptians may not align with our modern understanding. In contemporary times, scientists suggest a close connection between ancient Egyptians and Middle Eastern populations. However, if we entertain the possibility of Atlanteans settling in Egypt approximately 12,000 years ago, it opens up the possibility of Black Egyptians within that historical context. This perspective allows us to find a resolution to the mystery at hand. Imagine this: long ago, with the help of a small group of Atlantean survivors, the Black race achieved remarkable feats, including the construction of the Great Pyramid. However, they eventually left Egypt and embarked on a journey across the world, leaving behind astonishing stonework found in various locations, such as the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moai statues, which bear a resemblance to individuals of African descent, on Easter Island, among others. Many years later, Middle Eastern populations settled in Egypt and aspired to replicate the accomplishments of the Black race, but their efforts proved unsuccessful. This failure led to a mistaken perception of technological decline in Egypt over time, creating an illusion of devolution. Therefore, the populations in the Middle East can be likened to a cargo cult phenomenon in Egypt. Egypt approximately 12,000 years ago, populated by individuals of African descent. Egypt approximately 4,500 years ago, inhabited by people with tanned, olive skin and a multi-ethnic makeup.